Hello and welcome back to another episode. Today we're doing something a bit different. As many of you know, I have spent many years as a journalist and a reporter, and I have turned shadow coach. And some topics of a political nature I have been avoiding because it's one of those distractions. Distractions from doing the real healing and deep inner work that I feel would have a huge net benefit to anyone that is engaging in such things and to the nation as a whole. For this particular news cycle and event that's happening now, the conflict between Israel and really multiple nations at this point needs to be addressed. It needs to be talked about. And I want to examine it from a different lens than I'm sure most of you are used to hearing from. As we're watching all these events unfold, there's a collective fear. It's a feeling of powerlessness because we know that these conflicts are very likely to escalate into far larger and potential World War III territory. And we can sense, all of us, that what's happening right now is very dangerous. And we've seen this before. We've seen it many times. We read the latest headlines about violence in Israel and Palestine. They're not just geopolitical, it's something deeper. It's something archetypal. We're watching the story of humanity play out again and again with new actors, same script. And I've come to believe that we can't understand any of this without turning within, into the realm of the psyche, the shadow, into mythology. It's not about blaming people, it's about waking up to a pattern, one that's older than any modern state and one that lives in all of us. What I've learned from studying Carl Jung is that he taught what we refuse to see in ourselves doesn't disappear, it gets projected. When a person or a nation won't look at its own darkness and externalizes it, the evil is never in here, it's always out there. That's the root of the shadow. It's what we can't or won't face. When the entire society does this, it becomes a collective shadow, a moral blind spot defended with myth, religion, identity, and inevitably violence. Every nation has one. The United States has it, Britain has it, and yes, so does Israel. But what makes Israel's particularly volatile is how deeply it's fused with sacred trauma and the story of divine promise. So let's be real. The Jewish people have endured horrors. They've endured the loss in World War II, which was a psychic wound, just like it wounded all the other nations that were part of it. And it shattered our humanity's collective soul. And they are a big part of that. In the wake of that, the need for safety became for them existential. The need for home became a very important thing. So out of the World War II emerged a myth, one of survival, chosenness, and sacred land. And it's what we call a living myth. The moment we stop seeing it as a story and start treating it as an unchallengeable truth, we move from myth into possession. Because myth is when unconscious controls us. We don't live it, we are lived by it. When a group of people experiences ongoing traumatization, it can begin to see itself as only a victim, even while becoming an oppressor. There is a twist. The one who was once powerless can become the one in power, but still see themselves as under siege. And that's exactly what allows unconscionable violence to be justified in the name of safety. Ideas like we are always under attack, we must do whatever it takes to survive. Anyone who criticizes us is repeating the same old hatred. It's not strategy, it's psychology. It's trauma defended by force and animated by myth. When a nation becomes so fused with its myth that it can't see outside of it, can't hear dissent, can't tolerate reflection, is in a state of archetypal possession. This is when moral logic is no longer individual, it's mythic. Actions become justified not because they're ethical, but because they serve the myth. Bombing civilians, they were shields. Displacing an entire family, God gave us the land. Silencing protest, they're traitors. It's not sovereignty, that's been swallowed by the shadow. Now, not everyone is going along with it. There are many Israelis who are resisting this, who are speaking out, who protest, and they risk everything to tell the truth. These voices matter. They show that the issue isn't a people, it's a pattern, it's a mindset. It's a system of belief fused with trauma and fueled by fear. These people, however, are punished. They're ostracized, called self-hating or treasonous. That's how the possession defends itself, by eliminating mirrors. Here's something that few are willing to say. Palestinians are Semites. To call every criticism of Israel anti-Semitic is not just intellectually lazy, it's erasure. It's turning the language of suffering into a weapon that protects power. It's entirely possible to love the Jewish people and to call out the Israeli government's crimes. It's possible to mourn the Holocaust and mourn the Nakba. It's possible to say never again and mean it for everyone. Healing here doesn't mean both sides laying down their arms and singing songs. It means Israel has to look at its shadow. It means giving up the idea that historical trauma justifies present-day domination. It means letting go of the myth that criticism equals hatred. It means seeing Palestinians not as a threat, but as fellow human beings with their own pain, history, and right to live free. That kind of reckoning doesn't happen overnight. It can take generations, but someone has to start it. So that's my take on what's happening there right now. And as you can see, it's a mess. It's something that is deeply ingrained in the collective psyches. This is something that can't just be undone with a peace treaty or negotiated away with a business deal. I don't think that this is going to do anything but escalate. But I just want to remind you that there is power in clarity, power in refusing to look away. Because the only thing more dangerous than a nation possessed by myth is a world that is too afraid to name it. And if we're going to make any great changes on this earth as a species, as entire different peoples, but working together, we need to all look at our collective shadows and all face it and address it and not be afraid to do this. To question narratives when they need to be questioned, to honor the truth. And when war crimes have been committed, the world needs to stand up in a unified voice and say, this is unacceptable, no matter who's doing it, whether it be the USA, Israel, or even Iran. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again next time.